Good evening, everyone, and welcome to On the Ball weekly discussion show. Obviously, we haven't had one for a little while with all the England games going on and everything else. And if you're looking, whilst I'm very pink, I played in a charity football game for Down syndrome awareness yesterday, which was for a great cause with a lot of great people. And we're raising a lot of money. Caught the sun a little bit, so it's great to have you joining us. We're going to be talking about all the recent discussion points, which will be like the transfer windows, Max Kilman going, Jurgen Strand-Larson coming in, and we'll also be looking at having a bit of a chat about the pre-season so far. Obviously, a couple of friendlies that's been made. And Matchday ticket prices have come out today, so obviously we'll have a bit of a chat about that as well. And I think we probably should have a little chat about Daniel Podence and Conchalo Guedes as well. I think that would be quite good. I'm joined this evening by my good friend, cheerful Chris. How you doing, mate?
How you doing, Dave? Yep, I'm good.
Great to have you joining us. And Scott is joining us. He messaged a couple of weeks ago saying he's got a bit more time now to be able to come back on the channel. So he's back to give in his views tonight as well. He might have to drop off for a couple of seconds to attend to a phone call at some point. So if he does disappear for a bit, he's got to deal with that phone call and then come back to us. Scott, great to have you back on, mate.
Good to be back.
Good to be back. We've already got nearly 8 if you're watching live, which is absolutely fantastic. Let's have a look and see who we've got in the chat. We've got Malcolm saying hello. We've got the producer who's there, Emma. We've got Rebecca. These are, if you've got a little wolf head next to it, that means they're members of the channel and support the channel. So we're really grateful for that. Pauline's here. Ennio, when the game's video is out, Dan, mate, I'm hoping that video comes out really soon because it's one of my greatest sporting moments, that goal. Literally, I really hope that comes out soon. Pardon? Oh, the Gomez video. Okay, the Gomez video. I thought you were talking about the video with the game. It's out this evening, apparently, the Gomez video. Carl's saying good evening, Dave, Chris and Scott. We've got Wolves across the pond here, which is great to have them joining us as well. Sarah's here as well. And if you let us know where you're watching from in the world as well. We've got loads of you joining. We've got Brian over in Southampton, another one of our members who you regularly see on the chat as well. So we're going to get stuck into a lot. I think the first thing we'll kick off on, if I can find it, is the announcement of the match day prices today, which is always going to cause a little bit of a stir. So let's have a look if I can find that, and we can put what Wolves have said about that on the thing. So I'm going to put that up on the screen now, and then we're going to have a little bit of a chat about this. So hopefully you can see that. I'm going to scroll down. So obviously the ticketing updates come out today from Wolves. And basically, it's, obviously there's all the uproar about the season ticket prices, the eventual slight clawback, shall we say, in terms of the under-14s, and then obviously the promise of a season ticket freeze for next year. And the match day prices were all going to be coming out. It's basically saying that for Category A matches, which I'm guessing is against your Cities, your Uniteds, your Liverpools, they're going to be ranging from £37 to £71. They're saying that the majority of seats are priced at £37 in the ground use stand, 56 in the Stan Cullis Quadrant, and there's limited availability in the Billy Wright stands, and including 76 tickets in the Billy Wright Centre, which are the £71 tickets, I think, for that. And that's the Billy Wright upper. I'm going to show you the screens of it. As with the 24-25 season tickets, and the 14 categories are going to remain unchanged, which was the concession. So I'm going to try and bring this up on the screen. So that's the entire breakdown for Category A matches. As you can see, adult tickets, depending on the stand, Graham Hughes 37, Stan Cullis 56, Jack Hayward 56, Billy Wright upper, lower, Billy Wright lower 59, Steve Bull 62, the Billy Wright wing 65.50, and it's the centre tickets of the Billy Wright for all categories that are £71 tickets. The under 14s are 10.50, under 17s 13.50. These are category A. Under 21s 27.65, and you can see across there the category B tickets start from £35 for an adult, again to the top price, which is the £60 in the centre. The cheapest ticket there, which is in the Graham Hughes, is a £9.50. All the, in fact, £8.50 in the Billy Wright lower for the under 14s, and it goes up again. And then your category C tickets, which are probably going to be against the likes of Ipswich, Bournemouth, those sort of tickets. Adult match price ticket in the Graham Hughes stand 26. Maximum price for the centre tickets £40. The cheapest ticket there is the under 14s at £6.50 in the Graham Hughes chance, and then it goes across the board. I'm going to go first of all to you, Chris, on that today. That's the ticket pricing.
I think nobody should be surprised at those prices, Dave. It was inevitable after the season ticket price hike that would happen for the match day prices. I think we've done to death whether we think that's value for money or not. The answer is pretty much no. Everybody got upset about it, didn't they? I was able to buy a Euro match ticket for a game whilst I was over there for €60, and that was in a competitive European Championship with two top international teams. So if you look at that, €60, and look at those prices.
What teams were they, mate, that you had to do?
That was Ukraine against Slovenia.
Well, I mean, I would come back and say to you on that. That would probably be classed as a category B match, a category C match.
Well, international day.
It is, yeah, but obviously, and obviously, I'm just talking back and arguing. I guess what you're saying. It's like £60, but like obviously, Ukraine supporters and Slovakia supporters are going to go there. But like the fact that you were able to buy tickets on the day and go means that it wasn't a very in-demand game, was it? So that's why the tickets would be, I'm guessing, I think because a lot of money, probably not many German fans would probably want to go to that game. They've obviously followed the stuff, and I believe you were able to get tickets on the day.
Well, it wasn't on the day. I got them a couple of days before, but
A couple of days before.
Yeah,
there wasn't a demand, was there? Really?
They didn't stay around for long, so they usually got snapped up pretty quickly at that price. I think they were at €200 on the day, so that's what they'd gone for. So it was,
There were €200 on the day of the game.
Yeah.
Okay, €200.
So it's but that's a major international competition.
Yeah.
And look, I don't want to compare what the facilities on offer at Wolves are to any of them stadiums I went to in the summer, because rather embarrassingly, they don't compare. They just don't compare for what you can,
Well, what would you say were the main differences? Because obviously,
space in the concourse.
It was absolutely brilliant that you were able to go to the games. I'm sorry that you had some of the England games weren't the most exciting, but like you were over there, you took the flag. It
was an experience, It wasn't all about it was going to do it, and it's supporting your country. That's what I did. I enjoyed it. Games weren't that good, but at the end of the day, they got through, and that was good. The differences are seat, space, the ability to go and get served when you want, in and out. There's no. It was just the design, and look. We've got a very aging stadium, and unfortunately, all these things when sort of looked at in the way that they are these days. So it's never going to compete with that. I'm just saying it's, when you look at these prices, nobody should be surprised at those prices because, season ticket holders get a saving. Everybody could see what the season ticket prices were. They were always going to come. What I don't like about these prices is the way the club have come out and offered people the ability to group the games together in one. So we did a lot of work on people not being able to afford to go to the games. So the club have come up with a fantastic idea to get them to pay for 3 games at once.
Well, with respect to that, I think they say following, and I don't know if this is on the, can share this on the screen again. It says on there, as from what I can see, following discussions with the fans advisory, the ticket release schedule will be updated for the 24-25 season. Instead of releasing tickets one game at a time, group of matches will now be available on some date. They're saying that is a direct action of the fans advisory board.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Well, all I'm saying is that's what.
I picked up on that, and I just don't understand now how if the feedback is it's difficult for people to afford to go to games, we've come up with a system that means they've got to buy all the games in one go. That's just me. That's just me and maths. I just think that's a strange.
Well, yeah, one of the obviously members of the fans advisory board is the seat is a truster on that. Obviously,
yeah.
So I don't know, as a trust board member, whether that was fed back to you from the chairman.
That statement doesn't reflect what I've been fed back.
So what have you been said back?
The reflection I've had was that they were advised that wasn't a very clever idea.
Okay. So that's interesting, isn't it?
Something for Jack to confirm, really.
Well, yeah, to be honest, I did ask if Jack could come on tonight to join us as well. But unfortunately, he is hopefully going to come on the weekend. But Jack, bless his soul, he suffers, for those of you that don't know, he suffers from Crohn's disease, which, is not a very nice illness at all. And you can have bouts of those. And when you have it, it wipes you completely out. So Jack's going through a bit of a bout at the moment.
Well, that's how to get sorted with that.
He's a really good lad. He's on the fans advisory board.
I think in summary,
pardon?
I think in summary with that, Dave, the prices don't faze me. That everybody should have known that was happening. I'm just a little bit surprised about that multi-buy thing. It seems.
To be honest, that's why I was sort of thinking, because it is sort of saying that it was in consultation with the fans advisory board, and that's what the fans advisory board's there for. So, I mean, we'll get more clarity on that hopefully at the weekend from.
I don't even know what the makeup of the fan advisory board in terms of season ticket holders and match day goers are.
Mate, I honestly, that would be interesting to know, because Daniel was a season ticket holder, and obviously he's no longer a season ticket holder. I'm sure there are season ticket holders on there, and there are members, obviously, of multiple consultant groups, and plus an independent. But that would be a good thing to find out, actually, or maybe something that the trust can ask what the breakdown is. Scott, are you sort of a general match day goer, or are you season ticket holder?
I haven't been season ticket holder for a while, so I just go to whatever games I can make because of work and stuff. But for me, like Chris has just said, after what we've heard about the prices going up for season tickets and stuff, I'm not surprised about the match day tickets being the prices they are. However, like it's been proven with the season tickets, there's a lot of people who complained in the beginning and said they were never going to pay, it's too much money and all this. They've still gone on and renewed. You fast forward to the match day prices, you're going to have people moaning, saying, oh, well, I ain't going to games, I ain't doing this, I ain't doing that. But they'll end up paying those prices to go anyway, because they want to see the games like Wolves versus United, Wolves versus City, Wolves versus Arsenal. They want to see those games. So regardless of what the price is, they're going to. And this is why Fusion get away with putting them up to the prices they do, because they know overall we're always going to pay, because we always back our club regardless.
Absolutely. Well, just to come back on that point, obviously, in terms of the season tickets, I feel really proud that this channel, along with all the other fan groups and other podcasts and channels, major ones, along with the trust, did get together to put a little bit of pressure on, so that the fans advisory board were able to get some concessions, i.e., the under 14s, because you've got to get the youngsters coming in, and adult season ticket price freeze. I know someone mentioned earlier on about that doesn't mean like Kiddie Wolf's put it, I have a 65 plus with my granddaughter under 17. We've been fleeced next season. Now Jeff says adult prices for the next season are frozen. They are not, mate. All I can say on that, it's been it has been put out by Wolves officially that they are freezing adult prices for next season. But that obviously the 65 plus and the under 17s are classed as concessions, so they don't class as an adult season ticket. So obviously, what they have also said is they will consult with the fans advisory board for next year on the concession prices. But obviously, that will be a consultation in how much they go up, if they go up or not. But the adult price tickets have been stated to be frozen for next year, and if they're not, and they do try to put them up, they will be held accountable by everybody, 100%. But obviously, I understand where you're coming. 65 plus. My dad is 87. There's lots of people with young family. I know a young family, 2 adults and 2 kids that have got season tickets this year as a family, because they messaged me because season tickets came available and they bought 4 tickets. And so you're quite right, Scott, is the fact that lots of people have renewed reluctantly, because if you lose your seat, you've lost it potentially. However, I don't think as many renewed as the club are trying to spin. I think it's more like 90% than the 96%, because Chris, am I right in saying it sort of went into the 6,000s on the waiting list?
7, I believe, Dave, over. I mean, I had that from a call into fan services, so they told me they were asking people over 7,000. That doesn't mean there were 7,000 available, because that's just they've gone on the list and gone up the list until they've.
A little bit like when they do sales on tickets for like home games and away games. You have bands. You have if you're in that band, you have up till that, and then it rolls into the next band. And stuff like
some people wouldn't have just took it,
Yeah. So there probably, there's people that have, were on the waiting list that haven't, and then they go into the next band. So they have up until this day to do it. If you're up to 3,000, if you're over 3,000 to 500, then it goes like Chris said, and so it's rolled out. I think it is I think it has probably surprised them that 10% is still quite a drop. It might even be a little bit more than that. So they have sold out. They were right that the demand was there, but I've had like conversations, about this. It's like, well, they're really going to need to build up that season ticket waiting list, because although it was there, it kind of won't. I think it's probably surprised the club that it went to 7,000, and that waiting list isn't as solid as what they thought. Is that a fair comment, Chris?
Yeah, and I think, obviously, it's part of the discussions I think we had with the trust and the fan advisory board. The club, obviously, in that negotiation about tickets and prices, thought that with that large waiting list, they probably had a seller's market. This probably has eroded that somewhat. And with people not taking up the renewals and so many of the number being offered on the list, I think maybe that position has withered away a little bit. So that'll be interesting to see when we start getting the updated waiting list numbers, which anybody who's joined the waiting list will be given a number, and you can see what that is. You can get a gauge of how far you've moved up.
Absolutely. And I do want to say, whilst I'm on it, massive big thanks to Creation Wolf for powering this show on the ball and extra time for next season. They do give the most advanced and latest digital solutions for your company, taking your brand and online presence capabilities to the next level. You can find them in the link below on creationwolf.com, in the link below this video. And they were big help in the draw for the Content Creators Cup on Thursday. So a big thanks, as always, to Creation Wolf for supporting us. It means so much. Scott, so how many games a season would you, because you've got quite a young family as well. I think you like to take your kids with you at the moment. How many games ideally a season do you try and get to?
Well, I work most weekends, so the chances of me going to any games last season was probably not even double figures. But like the one thing that I love is the fan base. We have like a group on Facebook that anybody who can't make a game's always putting tickets out there. There's the admins have got like a list of people that you can trust. People who, people who are genuine, don't just take your money and fleece you. They actually get you tickets to games. So I recommend that to anybody who's got kids or anybody who's got a young family or anything like that. If they're struggling to get tickets, that's the best place to get them. But for me personally, I managed to get to, I think it was about 6 games last season. That was probably about it. And then the next one I'm taking my kids to is this pre-season one against Rayo something. Rayo Vallecano.
Yeah. Vallecano.
Yeah, but
I'm probably right on the pronunciation of that.
But because very popular tickets are, and how gold dust they are, like to get me one is something, but to get one for me and my kids is difficult. But what I found near towards the end of last season was more tickets did become available. So I'm presuming it all comes down to the way we play.
We'd kind of going out the FA Cup, we kind of had nothing to play for. Injuries were falling off a little bit. People were a bit maybe a bit footballed out with Wolves towards the end, so there was a few tickets. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it pans out. I mean, I like what Chris says. I know the ticket prices, the match day tickets, are higher than what we particularly want, but there is no surprise for me that of the prices like Chris. At the end of the day, the season ticket prices are what they are. They're not going to be the same per match as a season ticket. The season ticket holders get a discount because you buy in bulk. You buy, 19 games throughout the season. You've committed to buying those, so obviously you get a discount. So if you're buying on a match day thing, and I know people like you, Scott, because of your job, you can't commit to having a season ticket. So there's a lot of people in that boat where they go when they can and stuff like that. But the match day tickets are going to be proportionally more expensive. And there's a lot of people that are focusing on this £71 figure, but there's only 76 seats on that £71 figure. But the headline figure is £71, and it's 76 seats in the middle of the Steve. Is it the Steve Bull, Chris?
Yeah, that's that's the higher end of although it's Steve Bull, which you could question why it's a higher end, because it's not particularly very comfortable. I moved away from there and in a much better seat now. But that's the higher end. I mean, you've got to call into question 2 adults and 2 children sitting in the Graham Hughes wearing a poncho, having to go to the toilet in a porta cabin, one little window and 2 people serving it, trying to get a drink in that corner, getting wet all match. I don't think 37 quid for an adult's pretty good value. You've got a bit of a restrictive view there as well. It's not brilliant. I've sat in there. So, yes, you've got the high end. The low end's 37. The club will say it's cheap for Premier League, but yeah, I'm not sure you have many grounds in the Premier League where you're sat out in the open in a corner.
No, absolutely. And this, again, calls into question, obviously, the development of Molineux. We've talked about on air, development of the facilities and stuff like that. At the end of the day, the Graham Hughes stand has been open many, many times for Wolves throughout the year. Obviously, you know, when we're in the Premier League, because of the capacity and the demand, so that's opened it. It's meant that more people can go to games. You do go to a lot of games, you know, abroad, and they don't even have a roof. I mean, you saw some of the stadiums in Germany; they've got a roof, and the torrential rain that was coming through, you see it, and they were getting absolutely soaked. And I think, you know, we've seen it at Wolves as well, where even where we sit, Chris, in the North Bank, if the wind's blowing, we get bloody wet. But yeah, no, it isn't ideal facilities and stuff. But I think obviously the fact that the club obviously have got that option, it means that people can get a ticket to go. I think the big interesting thing for next season will be is the match day tickets. Will the demand be there? Obviously, you know, from a club perspective, they know that people and the tourists that come, the South Koreans and the Americans, and that, you know, I've got no problem at all with fans traveling to support our club from other countries and being able to get a ticket and come and stuff like that. There's an allocation for that. It's not bad. They're growing the brand internationally. You need to do that. But they know that they're going to come. If they're going to spend £400 or £500 on a plane to get over here, they're going to pay whatever they need to pay to get a ticket, and then they're going to go in the club shop and they're going to spend a couple of £100 in the club shop as well. And you know,
because they don't buy one shirt, Dave. I've been in the club shop while Koreans have been in there, and the one guy I followed in there, he had 6 shirts.
Yeah, probably bought one for each of his family and friends and stuff like that. They spend a lot of money, and you get that, and there's got to be that balance. But this all comes again towards potentially increasing the capacity. If they want to go down that route more, but increasing the capacity of Molineux so that they can keep tickets low for, you know, legacy fans. You see this successfully done, as you well know, in Germany, Chris. I mean, we've talked about, it's Dortmund in it? Not Dortmund. Your team, that I'm now supporting. Dusseldorf. Yeah, Fortuna Dusseldorf. What's the capacity of their stadium?
60,000 Bundesliga 2, so it's not even in the top tier.
What's the average price of a ticket there?
Oh, it's from €17 up to 24. I think it's ridiculous.
Yes, a low cost to get many to fill the stadium, to try and get as many.
You get 6 games. You can go into a ballot, and I think there's 10,000 tickets are made available for free for 6 games with them. But that's not a typical Bundesliga initiative. That's just Dusseldorf doing that. It's about you know, getting people in there. But Schalke, I went to Schalke's ground, Gelsenkirchen. That's in the end, and that massive big stadium there. They're the Bundesliga 2. Cologne, I think it must have followed me around every game I went to. Cologne got relegated. Another great big stadium, so they're in Bundesliga 2. All fantastic stadium, you know.
Absolutely. So, I mean, the ultimate answer for Wolves long term is to increase the capacity so that they can, you know, obviously at the moment they feel that they're going to fill Molineux so they can justify the prices. But like, the ideal balance would be to have a bigger stadium up into around about 40,000, be able to keep the prices low for fans, and then they can fill it with as many, you know, tourism fans as they want, and there's capacity.
It's hard, Dave, getting the right window to do a ground.
I know, and this is this is the age, but they are painting it finally again. Fan pressure. Spending 600 to 800,000 on Molineux. We've seen pictures of the bollards. They're going to be doing the stanchions around Molineux because, you know, as Wolves fans, we don't want other clubs to turn up and fans and go like, this is just a dump. You know, aesthetically, they're finally spending some money. So hopefully by the top of the season, it should look, you know, a lot nicer for fans going towards the game. What's your take on that, Scott, in terms of like Molineux itself and, you know, the development, just whilst we got you on?
For me personally, like, if you're going to put ticket prices up and keep asking fans to pay the prices that they're going to do, you've got to give them something in return. What we want to see is a team that's going to be pushing for European football. We want to see a ground that matches that. So you've got to start doing the ground up. You've got to start looking at ways of improving capacity. Like the Graham Hughes stand, like I don't know how easy or how difficult it would be, but like if you could, wouldn't you just put a roof on it, even if it's a temporary roof, just to give the fans a little bit more reason why they should pay the price that they do for that stand? Stuff like that.
Possibly, I don't
You've
know
got
how they do that. But
yeah, so you've got to think of ways of convincing Wolves fans like we do want this club, we are invested in this club, we want what you want, which is trophies, European football, and we're going to give you in return while we're waiting for that a ground to match that. Do you know what I mean? Stands to match that. But this is why I think because of pressure from fans, this is why we're getting the paint job that we're getting now.
Well, just on the
and this is why with the ticket prices as well, like the only reason why we've got the price freeze and the under 14s is because of pressure from fans. The thing is, they'll keep pushing us as much as they can until we push back, and then they know they've got to stop and they've got to give us something to just, keep us occupied for a bit.
Absolutely. Now, just on the paint, because we've got 1, 2, 3 North End, bloody hell, fresh paint. It's not just paint. They're not just dabbing paint onto bollards, because historically it's got to be, because of the rust and everything, it's got to be rubbed straight back. So that it's not just about daubing some paint on it. It's got to be literally pulled straight back. I mean, Chris, you'd probably be able to explain this a lot more.
So you've got to when you've got paint that's decaying like that and bare metal, you get oxidization of metal, so you need to treat that. You then need to put a protective paint surface over that paint before you then put the colour paint on you want to. So it's not just simple throw more paint on. If you do that, it'll just come straight back off. So I did have a look very keenly because I'm into that sort of thing. It sounds very sad about what was happening to that painting, and it all looks like they're doing it in the way that you would expect to. Things have been rubbed down and treated, and that's probably why the cost is so high. What I would point out is if they'd have spent some money a bit more regularly throughout the last few seasons, that bill wouldn't have been so high.
Exactly, and it's because like it's built up, but at least they are spending the money on that, which is positive.
Yeah,
I've got a couple of points here on the thing. First of all, we've got Sutty, who's obviously missed only just coming in onto this because he's must have missed the bit that we talked about. This is going on about the £71. Well, we'll cover that for a second, mate, if you will. But also, Brian's making the point, just to clarify, the £71 price paint is for the centre of the upper Billy right, not the Steve Bull area. Checked that it's 71 for all age groups. So, Sutty, if you missed this, we did, maybe you'll watch it back. We did talk about this. The £71 is the headline price point. It is for 76 seats only in Category A games. Obviously, that's the thing that people are shouting about. It's 76 seats in the middle of the Steve Bull now. The Steve Bull for me isn't the best seats in the stadium. We've talked about this, but like we did go through all the different age groups as well. But it is a headline figure. But it is out of a 32,000 seater stadium. It is 76 seats only in Category A matches. But of course, people are shouting about the £71 figure, such as yourself. And we do agree that the prices are higher than what we want across the board. We all agree with that. But as Chris said, as myself said, and as what Scott has said, it's no surprise that the match day prices have gone up in line with season tickets. Because having a season ticket, you get a discount. So yeah, so possibly we did talk about that earlier, didn't we, Scott and Chris? And try to compare.
Yeah, Dave. I was just having a thought there. I just feel immensely sad for people who have probably not renewed that could have renewed because they didn't agree with the prices. Because if you look at what they're now going to have to pay to go and watch those games, it's a massive increase on even the season ticket price, and it's sad because people are just not going to be able to go. I don't know what the answer is, and the club in a degree, because we haven't done anything with the stadium over time. They haven't got the seats. They haven't got the coverage. They can't, offer price breaks because it's competitive and people want to go. So I understand all those market forces. But there's a part of me that thinks it's a football game. It's not, I'm still a bit traditional. It's not a business. It's football, although I understand it is. It's just
absolutely, mate. And it is what it is. It is where we are. And like we said, we've said that a lot more people didn't renew than maybe what the club is saying. We reckon it's somewhere between sort of 88 to 90% didn't renew, but they have sold out. As I said, I know they're going about families not being able to afford it. I know a family that messaged me, 2 adults, 2 kids. They've snapped up the 4 tickets. They go as many games as they can, and now they've got season tickets altogether. So it's quite interesting, isn't it? But like this discussion really and this argument ended in some respects with the season tickets. And like you say, Chris, as we can moan about it as much as we like right now about everything, and we'd all like everything to be cheaper. The reality it is what it is, and we've got to fight with and if like next year those adult season ticket prices go up, they will be able to account. But you also have to say it has been fan pressure. They are finally doing some work with the ground. It's costing nearly £1 million to do that. But it would have cost, like what you said, Chris, if they'd kept on top of it, probably would have cost a lot less. So interesting if you're watching this back, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Wanted to talk a little bit more about that. But when you look at the prices, don't just focus on the £71.76 seats in one particular area of Molineux for a Group A game. You have to look at the prices across everything, across the whole thing, not just £71, because that is a headline figure that everyone's flashing about. But equally, we do support and are concerned, obviously, about people that aren't able to afford it, like what you said, Chris, that going to struggle to be able to go. So let's move on to what everything else that's been going. Obviously, Wolves have been off training to Marbella. We know that the Portuguese contingent in the internationals, Pedro Neto, Nelson Semedo, Jose Sá. Obviously, after the internationals were given some time off, we know that Joe Gomez, his thing's coming out tonight. Brazil got knocked out at the same sort of start time. They're going to have some time off. We know that Boubacar Traoré and Enzo Gonzalez are going to be involved with their international teams for the Olympics, which is why they aren't training with Wolves. Nathan Fraser's been given a new contract. I expect he will go out on loan. We've made 4 signings, Scott, that we bought in, and Max Kilman has gone out, and we've bought in this guy, Jurgen Strand-Larson, Norwegian, number 9. Give us your thoughts on the transfer window so far, what we've done, and also your thoughts about Max Kilman going out, and of course finally getting, hopefully, the answer to our problems. That's number 9. Fingers crossed.
I think so far it's been a good transfer window. I think Matt Hobbs has been a credit to us with the signings he's made so far, and for getting 40 million for Kilman. For me, I liked Kilman. I thought he was a good defender for us. Don't honestly believe he was captain material, but he was a really good defender for us. So to get 40 million for him is incredible, when I honestly don't rate him at 40 million. I think at best you're pushing close to 28 to 30 million for him, not 40 million. But we managed to get a steal there and use that to top up our bank. And the signings that we make currently, I've got high expectations for this Norwegian lad. I think he's going to do really well with the players he's going to have around him, feeding him these type of balls. And he, like he said, I loved what he said in his interview, where he turned around and said if he has to, I think it was break a few, like lose a few teeth to win a ball, he's going to do it. And that's the kind of mentality that we need in a striker who's going to get us these goals. For me personally, don't know much about Rodrigo Gomez, so I can't really say much about him. I think Lima is going to be an incredible signing. I think he's going to relish in the Premier League. And I forgot what the other one is. The other
Tommy
one's name.
Doyle was made permanent, mate. 4.3.
Yeah, that's it. Tommy Doyle. Tommy Doyle was a no-brainer, though. He was incredible last season. He only played to score outside the box for us as well that season. So
I was
making him
there. I was
permanent.
there at that game as well, and it literally was. But it wasn't in the league, was it? It was in the cup against Brentford.
So I think we're in good hands at the minute with what Matt Hobbs is doing. I trust his process. You know, everybody dated him with the Gary O'Neill appointment last season, and that's proven to be a good appointment. And look at Gary O'Neill now, shining under a pre-season. He brings in a free kick coach, set piece coach. First pre-season game, we score from set piece. So,
that's a good point. Yeah,
I'm really confident going forward for this season that we're going to have a good season. I'm not going to obviously go out my way and say, like, you know, we're going to push for Europe, but ideally that's what we should be aiming for. And with the way we've started pre-season so far, the way everybody's happy in camp, and we've still got players to come back yet, I'm very confident in this side.
absolutely. And guys, what I would like you to do, if you're actually enjoying this chat, I'd love it if you'd hit that like button. And if you're brand new, it'd be great if you could subscribe to the channel, because you know, we try and give you daily news every day here. And obviously, we're going to have more in-depth chats as we get closer. It is 26 days till we kick off against Arsenal. They'll be going off to the States very, very soon. Chris, a good time, 26 days out. The one thing I will say, and you know, last year when everyone was doom and gloom about the transfer window, I did say let's just hold fire and see how we are at the end of the window. And you know, we've made a decent start to the window this year, but I would also say the same thing, really, personally. Let's see how we are at the end of the window, because you can't only really judge a transfer window when the window's closed. But so far, what's your take? What's your thoughts on Max Kilman, and what's your thoughts on Jurgen Strand-Larson and who we've brought in so far?
Max had a poor season last season. He, I think, is a very good Premier League centre-half, providing he has a strong leader by the side of him. But he can't lead the back four. He was found wanting, out of position, trudging back to the halfway line after he conceded goals. You know, he had a poor season. So I think Scott's right to get that money for him was an incredible bit of business. I think we've got a ready-made replacement in Jurgen Mosquera to go in there. I think.
Well, I met him recently at an event, Jurgen, and he's a really nice lad. Obviously, he said all the things about Villarreal. But he's going to, if someone from Villarreal Spanish press are going to say, "Would you like to be here next year?" He ain't going to turn around and say no. He's not going to say that. No. He said he's ready for the Premier League. He was very humble when I was speaking to him. So, I think,
having that him and Totti at the back. You know, whether we do a 5 or a 4, him and Totti and Dawson at the back as a back three.
Don't forget Santiago Bueno as well.
Yeah, we've got. I think we're covered. Quite well in centre halves. I'm not sure if Jurgen's staying. We need to invest in that position. So I think
we probably still need to bring in another centre half. Scott, on that.
It depends what you play.
Yeah, I know.
For me personally, I don't think we need to bring in anybody. I think
you don't.
No, because I think from Wolves' point of view, we got rid of Kilman. We got a good amount of money for him. If we were in the market looking for another centre back, we wouldn't be keeping Jurgen. Us keeping Jurgen is us basically saying, look, we've got enough here with Gomez, with Bueno. Do you know what I mean? And now Jurgen to fill that role alongside Dawson. I think if we do play, like say 4-4-2, it's Dawson and Gomez as centre back. I honestly think it's going to be that. But Jurgen is going to get his chance to fight for his place. And if we do go for 3 at the back, 3 centre backs, I reckon Jurgen gets ahead of Bueno.
It's interesting you should say that. And Chris, we're going to come on and talk back to you about the incomings in a second and Jurgen. You see, for me, I think we need more than one trick. Like, it's said that Wolves are obviously we're playing this hybrid system for out 4 in possession, 5 out of possession. Gary O'Neill, we know ideally wants to play a back 4, but you saw what happened to our forwards last year when you pick up a couple, 2, 3 injuries in one area. Yeah, I just think that we'll be very, very. If we picked injuries to centre backs, and don't forget they're the ones making last ditch tackles and stuff like that, they get an injury. Dawson obviously is aging and may not even be first choice this year. Jurgen still got to adjust to the Premier League. Santiago Bueno, we've seen at points how good he is. Totti is versatile. He can play on the left side if he needs to be. That Elvidia, I still think Wolves are going to bring in another centre-back. I think they'll still bring in another centre-back, and I think we need another centre-back. Guys, in the chat on that, because it's interesting debate, what's your thought? If we've got Dawson, Jurgen Mosquera, Santiago Bueno, and Totti Gomez, 4 out-and-out centre-backs, who have a bit of versatility. Wolves can play a 4 or 3. Do we need another centre-back to come in? Leave your thoughts in the comment section on there. Carry on. Chris?
Yeah.
Go on, Scott. First, then Chris.
All I was going to say was when we first got rid of Kilman, we were linked to a defender from Hull, but I can't remember his name. Young defender from Hull.
Who?
Maybe somebody in the chat might know that, but I can't remember
Abidi.
his name.
What did you say, Em? Anyway, if anyone knows who that Hull defender is, put it in the chat. Chris, back to you on that.
Yeah, so going back to the signings, I think Pedro Lima is a good prospect, but he's going to take some time to learn the game and learn the Premier League game. He's not going to come straight in the team. I'm a little bit worried about Semedo, whether he might move on. He's got a year left on his contract, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he's got 1 year because they've got that extension to Semedo.
So he could walk away and we could lose quite a bit of money there. So I'm kind of half expecting him maybe to go, but that I really wouldn't want to because I thought he was excellent last year.
Well, Gary O'Neill definitely wants him to stay. The thing is Nelson Semedo is Nelson Semedo going to get that much money elsewhere at his age? I'm not sure he will.
No. And then Strand-Larson, I don't want to write him off. I don't want to pull him up. We did enough of that with Fabio. I don't want to put a young kid in the lights under pressure. And the club obviously think a lot of it and they've signed him. What I would say is I've watched a fair bit of Norway playing international football, mainly because of Haaland, because I like watching him, and I've never noticed Strand-Larson.
Well, can I give you a reason why? I'll give you a reason why.
Why?
Because Jurgen Strand-Larson plays in the same position as Haaland, and when he plays for Norway, he ain't going to play the number 9 position.
No, I get that.
He plays more on the side.
Plays on the wing, yeah.
So,
what I'm saying, he hasn't not impressed me. That's the wrong word. He hasn't stood out.
I can understand why as well, because like if you've got someone like Haaland in front of you, I mean they grew up together. They've been in the similar ages. I think he's 1 inch taller.
Yeah,
if he's half the player of Haaland, then we've got a player. But like he plays on that side because Haaland always plays through the middle, so it's slightly different to the game he's going to play for Wolves. He's going to be that focal point, isn't he?
It's not me saying he's a bad player, Dave. I haven't noticed him. I don't want to pull him up. I don't want to get on the bandwagon and say he's a new Steve Ball and all that. We just need to let the kid settle in and play. Sometimes the club are a little bit, I think, naive in how they bring us these players and pull them up and show, I go back to Noah Lamina. We were watching videos of him scoring screamers in training on the club website, and he never even played a game. And
has he been let go
he's
back?
Left. Yeah,
he's
left. Sometimes I think in wanting to show us stuff and keep us informed, I think they get a little bit. I think that the message gets a little bit carried away, and that they're sowing us these seeds that never grow into anything. And I think so I'm kind of, let's just see what he's doing. I mean, me, Dave. I'll sit and watch a game, and I'll watch him play 2 or 3 games, and I'll know where he's going to be all right.
You do. You analyse the game. You analyse the games. You literally will sit and watch one player as well, how their movement and stuff like that. We've got Mika here, who's just joined us. He's away in Frankfurt. You'll know that well.
Yes, I was there for the England game. That seems like an age away ago now. We had a nice journey out there and a nice journey back along the Moselle and up the Rhine on a train journey that took 4 hours, but it was very good.
Well, on Jurgen Strand-Larson, Scott, I'm kind of in the same camp as Chris. I don't want to big him up, and say like he's going to be the answer. We hope he's the answer, because we've been missing that sort of number 9 that can head the ball, hold the ball up, score goals with his feet, link up play, strong, can run off the ball, got a bit of something about him, good awareness where his teammates are, since Raul at his peak. Equally, you don't want to be down on the guy. I mean, Wolves have 3 million initially, which is good business. And then if he's a success, they'll take him on. I do think he'll come good. I saw someone put in the chat, where's the delivery going to come? We've got so much pace and opportunity to get balls into him with the forwards we got. We were just missing that focal point.
I was a mistake, Dave, of thinking because he's a big lump that he's going to be on the end of everything. Everything's going to be in the air. I don't think he's that sort of player. So I think we play the way we have been. I think it fits him fine. Yeah.
What's your take, Scott?
Well, for me personally, he needs to have time to adjust to the Premier League. Pre-season's about adjusting to your teammates, our style of play. But then he needs that time to adjust to the Premier League. So for me, I wouldn't judge him straight off the bat. Give him a chance to ease into that type of, mentality of football, because it's a totally different game to what he's used to. But 3 things are going to happen. One of 3 things is going to happen. 1, he'll hit the ground running and take it like a duck to water. 2, it's going to take a few games for him to get used to it, and then he'll hit his stride. Or 3, he just doesn't connect with the game at all and doesn't do much for us and fails. What we need to do as fans is be behind him until we reach that point ourselves where we know he ain't going to produce anything. So we need to give him time. We need to let him adjust. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, he shows what we know he is capable of doing.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Bromley said here we still need another striker. If Larson gets injured, we're back to situation, which is why I'd have liked to have seen like a Che Adams come in on a free, but that's gone a bit quiet.
He's gone now, ain't he?
Hey?
Yeah. He's gone to Torino.
Yeah, he's gone. That's what I'm saying. I would have liked to have seen him, but it didn't pan out. On a free, it would have been all right. But like I say, he's gone. I still think there'll probably be there's definitely going to be something more incomings that will happen before the transfer window closes, and there's definitely going to be people going out. I want to just talk briefly and get both your thoughts on. I think Fabio Silva's going to go one way or the other anyway. I think he's had his chances. I can't see him. He's not even. I mean, he's had a new hairdo, but it's I can't see him coming back involved. Daniel Pedence, never a pre-season until he gets sent off, but he seems to have settled back in under Gary O'Neill and the squad. He seems to be getting on. Conchalo Guedes played 30 minutes against Bristol City, and he was out with the lads to the basketball match at the weekend. We'll go with you first, Scott. What are your thoughts on those three players?
Well, I think our time with Silver's come to an end now. So he needs to move on fully now, not a loan deal. He needs to be sold to somebody straight off the bat. Because for me, we gave him all the chances we gave him in a gold and black shirt. He's failed for us. Even on loan, he's not doing so well with the teams that he goes on loan to. I think we just need to cut our losses and get rid of him. As for Podence and Guedes, I would like to see them involved. I would like to see them back in a gold shirt playing for Wolves. But where I think Podence would shine under O'Neill, I don't think Guedes will. I think Guedes is better suited to a different type of game that's not the Premier League. Whereas Podence, as long as you've got Podence is back, as long as Podence is settled, as long as Podence is happy and he's getting regular game time and he's producing on the pitch, you'll get the best out of him. But the last thing I heard about Podence was he had bought a house over in Greece. So I don't know if he's still pushing for that move away.
Be interesting to see, because I think Olympiacos definitely would like to have him. I think they've sort of offered about 3 million. I think Wolves value it more like 6 million. Podence, did he get much of a chance under Gary O'Neill last year, really? Chris,
no, because he'd gone. He fell out with Lopetegui, didn't he? And he'd pretty much gone by the time O'Neill was in post. I don't think he was around much by then.
What's your take on, say, Guedes, Podence, and Fabio? Then where are you with them?
Yeah, Fabio, we just need to get rid of him. He's had enough chances. He's had enough chances at Wolves. He's had enough chances elsewhere. He just doesn't seem. He just doesn't seem to get it. He's not. We've been done up there. We've been done up like a kipper by Porto. I'm still waiting for that was a Mendes deal. Porto sold him to us, and I think it kept them away from any financial fair play issues when they did. I'm waiting for the payback because there's got to be one somewhere. Because
wasn't that Neves?
I think Silva was as well.
Yeah, it wasn't. Don't you think the payback was Neves to Saudi in the end? The 40 million.
Possibly. Anyway, it's not worked. I don't think he's not been given a chance. I think he has. I think of all of these three that we're talking about, he's probably been given more chances than Guedes. To be fair, so Fabio for me a big no. Guedes, if we could get anything like the money we paid for him, I'd sell him. If we can't, and we can utilise him, and he's in the right space, he's got plenty of pace. He plays, that inside left, inside right. We're going to need that sort of player. We didn't have enough of these players at the end of the season last year. We were bringing Chiwomi and Nathan Fraser on, and that just shows the strength of the squad. So Guedes, I wouldn't be, if his attitude's right and Gary O'Neill thinks he's come and he wants to be part of the team, he wants to play, then great. If we're not going to get the value for him in the market and do something with another player, then we need to get the value out of the player that we've got. So I'd like to see that happening. Who's the other one? Podence. Yeah, I think every team needs a little Podence, a little
bit of needle,
wind up merchant, a bit of needle. If he's needling in the other team, he's putting them off the game. He's making them lose their concentration. He's a little feisty guy. I think he did all right for us when he played. He's maybe got 10 step overs too many, but it maybe we can get that out of his game a little bit and get him to play a little bit more precisely than all that fancy stuff. What I will say about Podence is he can finish.
Yeah,
He-
absolutely.
he gets it done.
And my dad loves him, Bonanza.
Yeah.
He
So
loves him.
I wouldn't be. It depends on the market, doesn't it, and what they're going to do and what's available and what they can get. And at the end of the day, you've got to trust Matt Hobbs, and you've got to. I'm a little bit more relaxed if Matt Hobbs is running this show rather than Mr. Shee, as we've gone through that ground before. If Matt Hobbs has got calling the shots and he's with Gary there picking the team and they can do what we want, then I kind of just have got to let him get on with it and draw my conclusions at the end of the transfer window. I'm probably more worried that there's more to go and our big players are going to go. This
is the thing, isn't it? This is why I say, like I said, exactly last year when nothing was happening and everyone was a bit more negative about the start of the window and everyone's a bit more positive about this year. You've got to have balance. You can only like judge it when that window closes. Are we stronger as a squad than when the window opens? And that's what everyone will do. So far, so good.
I think at the end of the day, look, if we haven't got any hope now in the pre-season and running up to the start of the season, we haven't got any hope that we're going to get some. These are all going to come good, and these players are going to bed back in, and we're going to be very fluid, and we're going to, Gary O'Neill's got all the solutions. If we can't be in dreamland now, what's the point?
Well, exactly.
Because when we start playing and it doesn't happen, which is, let's face it, probably more likely than the other way, that's it. It's all over. So we gotta have a bit of fun, a bit of dream now.
Kidney Wolf says if Podence and Gaddis wants to play and God is happy to keep. Silver's had his chances. I think everyone pretty much in the same boat as Silver now. He's had so many chances, and the Wolves fans were so great with him last season when he was supporting him and stuff like that. It just ain't happening. It's an experiment that failed. I also think some of the way the transfer policy changed was because they bought in the likes of Gonçalo Guedes, who flopped. A lot of money spent on him, and we've not seen him. Been on loan. A lot of money spent on Fabio Silva. I think they got stung. And the transfer policy has changed. Sellers went out, and Matt Hobbs has done, for me, a phenomenal job since he's been in charge, because he literally had to get us through, last season, and they've made a positive start to this season. And Hobbs, he brought in Gary O'Neill when everyone questioned him, and he's done a decent job. So you can't really fault Hobbs. You do, but you do. Every club gets transfers that don't work out, and I'm sure Hobbs will have some as well. But what?
I mean, Man City bought Mateus Nunes last year,
mate. So, what's he done? He's got splinters on his bum and broke his finger, and we got 40-something million. What a deal that was!
Yeah,
and we got Tommy Doyle in return. Come on, absolutely brilliant. So look, we'll see how this goes. We'll be talking about the transfer window and obviously the American stuff and everything that goes through during the window. Over the next week, it's 26 weeks, 26 days until Arsenal away. Final thing that I want to just talk about tonight, and that is our little fundraiser, which we do to raise money and funds for the Wolves Foundation. In support, we're trying to raise £5,000. We did the draw on Thursday. I'm going to come on to that in a minute. And we've got the event taking place at Compton Wolves Training Ground on the 7th of September. Scott is in one of our team. He played defence last year. He might be playing in goal this year because Craig broke his ribs. He was 60. But, it's a great event. that's going to be all the top podcasts, content creators, channels getting together as one to do something really positive, and that's raise awareness and money for the foundation, because the foundation doesn't get any money directly off Wolves. It gets off the Premier League. Everything else they have to raise themselves, and we're trying to raise £5,000. The draw was made. This is the draw for the two groups for the Content Creators Cup. And we're excited. So how it got drawn, and there will be a video of this coming out later, hopefully later on this week, on the draw. And we had a chat as well. We had myself, Dave as a party, Little Dan. We had Robbie from WCR FM, and we had Ryan Lester from the Wolf Report on a panel interviewed by Jason Guy, who did a great job comparing and MC in the evening. That will hopefully come out at some point. You might see it on some of the other channels as well. But the draw was made World Cup style. Kieran from the foundation drew the teams. Jason drew out the placement. So like you'd have A1, which was us. So we're in the group of death with Wolves Fancast, the Wolves media team, all the guys behind some of the content you see on the Wolves, socials, YouTube, all that sort of stuff. We've got the Wolves Foundation, and we've got the Wolves 77 Club podcast in our group. And then in Group B, we've got Ryan Lester's Wolves Report. Their first match is going to be against the Wolf Pack. Then we've got WCR FM, who are going to be taking on the old Gold Pack, because they create content. Of course, they create all the flags. And then last year's runners-up Talking Wolves are in that group. The way it works is that the top four of each group will progress to the quarterfinals. So the winner of Group A will play fourth place in Group B, second place in Group A plays third place in Group B, first in Group B plays fourth in Group A, and second in Group B plays third in a quarterfinal, semi-final, and final. It's taking place on the 7th. There is a link in the description below this video to thinking I'm going to show you this. I'm going to put this up on the screen. So there is the is it up? Is it up on the screen yet? Let me just see if I can share the stop the screen. I'm going to present and share screen. So this is the Just Giving page. We've got a 5,000 target, as you can see. Our team entry's gone in. Each team it's costing £200 to enter. So like we've already entered our team down here somewhere. There's our team entry. It's £25 a player. And then here, as you can see, if you want tickets for the actual 7th of September, there are only limited tickets, 100 to 150 tickets for spectators. It's £5 a ticket. So if you want 3 tickets, do like what Craig's done, 3 times tickets, Contest Creators Cup. You can list the names of the other people who are with you. Just put that on the Just Giving page, and you will be added to the list to be able to be on the door. Because when you want to get into Compton, you have to get through security. So you need to be on the list to be able to get in on this. So as I say, it's a fantastic event. 7th of September. It's raising money and funds for the Wolves Foundation. I hope you support it. And if you can't go, make a donation anyway. Make a donation anyway. Like here's Carl, he's getting his 2 tickets tomorrow. So I say once we're out of tickets, it's done. But you can still make a donation even if you can't make it. So yeah, final thoughts, Scott and Cheerful. Are you looking forward to seeing how Wolves get on in the States? Scott?
I would say I'm confident that we're going to have a good pre-season out there. We've got some tough games. I believe it's West Ham, Palace, and Leipzig. Yeah.
Yeah. RB Leipzig. That'll be an interesting one in Miami as well.
Yeah. I reckon we'll hold our own. I reckon we'll do quite well.
going to be an interesting one, isn't it, Max Kilman? And one of the things that we haven't talked about with Max Kilman, whilst we're on it, I think him actually being, £40,000 to 40 million is a great deal and a lot of profit. But not only that, it solved the problem with the captaincy, because a lot of people were questioning Max's captaincy, and it's hard to take it off someone. So with him being sold, it means that obviously Gary can appoint his captain, can't he, Chris?
Yeah, and it's probably going to be Lamina, I would think, would be the captain. I think there's an outside chance he could make Kuna captain. He's got energy, drive. He looks like he's, if you look at all the social media, his Instagram, he looks like he's the pivotal character in the dressing room. He's been very instrumental when Pedro Lima come in, and so he's kind of, it could be a vice captain. I'm sure Gary will make that decision. He may even bring somebody in that he brings in as a captain. You don't know. I wouldn't have thought he would do that, because they're quite a settled group.
Absolutely. And guys, thank you ever so much for joining us tonight on a Monday night. I much appreciate it. Scott, great to have you back on the show, mate. Much appreciated. And Chris, as always, as well. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yep, it's good to be back on and start getting ready for the season. And internationals are all done, and now we've just got the excitement of the transfer window and friendlies, and we'll see how we go.
Absolutely. And Brian's there. He's going to be out the country for the Content Creators Cup, but he's going to be making a donation anyway. I appreciate that, mate. Thank you ever so much. Oh, and one final thing before I go. We are looking for sponsors, 2 or 3 sponsors for the event. So if you've got a company, you'll get an advert in the program. You'll get your logo on all the promotional stuff like that as well. You'll be associated with supporting the foundation. So if you have got a company and you want to get involved with supporting this event, please contact us either through admin@alwayswolves.co.uk or through our website contact form, or through our socials on Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things. We're on TikTok as well. Get in touch and we can talk to you about how your company can get involved with supporting this fantastic cause and this fantastic event, which is going to get a lot of airtime in the run up to September the 7th. And as I say, September the 7th, we are organising it in the international break. There's no Wolves fixtures, so you can come and watch us pick a bag of wind about and have a laugh. And there'll be refreshments and all sorts and things going on around it as well on the day. Guys, absolutely. Oh, yeah, the charity game yesterday I took part in for Down syndrome awareness, which is why I've got a red face. It's raised, I think, about £3,000 for Down syndrome, which is fantastic. Lots of sort of people there, influencers, TikTokers, ex-pro footballers and stuff like that. I scored a goal. I did the Jude Bellingham after I scored, which was great. Our team won. Look out on my personal socials, Dazzling Dave, for some of those pictures coming out soon. So yeah, absolutely brilliant for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. From myself, Chris and Scott, to all of you guys, wherever you are in the world, 26 days, it's counting down. Until the next one, always Wolves.
Always Wolves.